Good afternoon, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Didn't expect to see all of you here.
Oh, didn't see you there. Oh, I love
Surprised.
intros when they're like, and that's why it's called a
Whoa.
cheeseburgerito. Oh, I didn't
Oh
see
my
you come in.
goodness.
Whoa. We're gonna switch things up a little bit. We're talking a lot about football, but
Talked a lot about football today, but what about other sports?
like basketball, Space Jam 2. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about basketball. It was a big. I think wasn't the opening night, but it was the. I think that was Tuesday, but I think
Tuesday was opening night with Pels Raptors and Lakers Clippers.
Yeah.
And then yesterday we had a whole bunch of games.
Oh, a
so
lot.
let's just talk about them.
But-
Let's start with Tuesdays. Raptors over the Pelicans. Over the Zion Williamson-less Pelicans.
meniscusless.
Of Zion, the meniscusless Zion Williams.
Also, I'm afraid they're not telling us what kind of surgery he's having, whether it's repaired or if they're taking away his meniscus. Because if it's that bad, if they take it out, his jumping's done.
They
that's what you
said,
need.
I don't think it's that bad.
I hope not,
Like I think they would have.
because the
said
fact they
more.
just said he's getting a surgery on his meniscus, they didn't say whether it was torn or repair or.
Just in looking at the box score from Raptors Pelicans, the biggest takeaways are, first of all, I think the Pelicans are going to be a very good team this year. I think with Zion back, I mean, I think even without Zion, they have a lot of players who can play. But what I find so interesting is that the Raptors are not a deep team.
Not at all.
Not at all. They only played 8 guys. And looking at the did not plays, I mean, there's nobody of note. So the guys who are really going to be in this rotation that much are going to be Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, Gasol, Lowry, Van Vliet, Norman Powell, Serge Ibaka, and Terrence Davis a little bit.
But I
and
mean,
that's it.
that's why you see that giant contract going to Pascal Siakam.
Yeah. And I mean, they should have locked him down.
No, I just don't disagree, but you're going to see the depth whittle away when you're giving out $100 million, or whatever it
Yeah.
was. It was a large contract.
Well, I mean, I think they're just still reeling from Kawhi leaving. Like they
knew.
pushed all of their chips to the middle of the table last year, and you know what? It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
It
And you know
worked.
what?
They got exactly what they wanted. I'm sure they have no regrets.
Toronto's going to be still in that honeymoon phase because it's their first championship. They're still going to be in the honeymoon phase of winning this year, where they're probably not going to make the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to care.
You don't think they're going to make the playoffs in the East with who they have? I think they make playoffs. I just think that they're a second round exit.
I think they might be a disappointment.
It's just a matter of they don't have a lot of guys right now who are going to find their way into the rotation. They just don't have enough guys who can play at that level.
Barring another trade.
As the season goes on, the NBA season's a marathon.
What would you do if they traded for DeMar DeRozan? They brought him back.
I mean, DeMar DeRozan did not look good.
He looked horrible.
Bad.
He doesn't want to be there. It's evident. He does not want to be there.
Oh, well, that trade, I mean, trading away DeMar DeRozan was just a little bit skeevy. I mean, look, you did it to get Kawhi Leonard.
It worked.
But it's like, man, it's like he was the franchise. Everyone loved. He was Toronto. And you kicked him to the curb, and it's cold. I don't think he'll ever be the same player.
No, I don't either.
I think, how do you recover from that? When everyone else is known for leaving your city and you stay put. He's from California. You think he doesn't want to be a Laker?
Yeah.
And he's standing put and saying, this is my team. I'm going to be the best Raptor ever. I'll always be a Raptor. If we're going to win, we're doing it with me. And everyone was behind it. And he had some great seasons. I mean, he was putting up almost 30 points per game. Only on twos because he doesn't really have a 3-ball.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
That's what I saw last night.
That's
no
impressive.
3-ball from him at
because
all.
he doesn't have a 3-ball. But now it's like he's not. It's not.
He does not look motivated.
Also, from Tuesday night, moving on, is Clippers over the Lakers.
Woo!
Yeah, I wasn't surprised. Danny Green with 28 points.
Wow,
good game from him.
Wow, that's impressive put out from Danny Green.
Yeah, no, the Clippers. They just played a way better game. Their bench outscored the Lakers bench, I think 61-18.
That does not surprise me at all.
They bodied them down low.
Well, see, that's what happens when you sign free agents. You don't trade away your entire bench to get a superstar.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, people were like, I don't know why people thought the Lakers were going to win this game. I don't know why people thought the Lakers were going to be the best team in LA, because clearly they're not. I mean, the Clippers bigs are just better than the Lakers bigs. And you're going to say Anthony Davis. Okay, obviously. Yeah, they have Anthony Davis, who's the best big man in the NBA. But besides that, they have JaVale McGee. And that's it.
Yeah, they're bad.
That's it. Oh no, they have Kostas Antetokounmpo. Excuse me. Those are their only bigs,
and that's for recruiting purposes. Don't let anybody fool you. That's what that is.
Yeah, for sure. He's not breaking it through.
When you have a young team that puts up an impressive fight in the playoffs last year, then gets 2 superstars. Don't forget, Paul George didn't play this game.
Paul George did not play.
This isn't even their final form.
Oh no, but like, look, they have a deep team.
That's the thing. When you have a team that can challenge challenge the Warriors for 7 games. I know they were a little,
and that was without Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
So exactly. So the fact you don't have to trade away for those guys, you signed them, is the difference between the 2 LA teams. That's all that is.
Clippers are my finals pick for sure. And I mean, last night they kind of proved it. Kawhi, I think right now, this is going to be maybe a bold
say it,
but I'm
say
gonna say it. Kawhi Leonard is the best basketball player in the world right now.
I can't argue with that.
I mean, there's you could say that it's Giannis, you could say it's Harden, you could still say it's LeBron.
Kawhi can shoot the 3.
Right now, I'm gonna say it's Kawhi.
I mean, I tend to agree with you because of what Giannis has clear holes in his game. He can't shoot from the outside as well. Sometimes his defense, his footwork isn't there. He makes up for it with his length and his athleticism.
But I mean, if Giannis ever gets a 3 ball,
oh, it's over.
My goodness.
But that's the thing is, what cons could you give me to having Kawhi Leonard on your team besides load management?
I will say the one thing that he's not great at is playmaking, but he doesn't really have to be.
But he's not a point guard, so I don't expect. You know what I mean? I expect Giannis
never played that point forward
as a wing player to shoot the 3, whereas I don't expect Kawhi as a small forward, power forward,
switching and dishing.
Yeah,
it's just that as we move towards a positionless basketball or a more positionless way of playing, people want guys who can do everything.
Yeah.
And so people will point to Kawhi's playmaking and be like, oh, that's weak. And it's like, yeah, but he's elite at almost everything else.
Honestly, if Kawhi wins a championship in LA before LeBron, doing it quietly, LeBron might be in trouble. He might not be the king
his
of
legacy
LA.
Will take a ding.
Well, who is it?
Well, if the Clippers win the finals this year,
Kawhi's going to be the king of LA.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because he didn't make a big show. I think it's the fact that he chose there, first of all. He said
he's just so quiet about it.
And
he really just goes about his business.
Yeah. So even if this year's a little bit of a disappointment, it's not going to be that bad because he's not the one making the promises. He's not sitting up there saying, we're going to hang rafters. We're going to do this. We're do that.
Yeah. LeBron's ego definitely gets in the way. Speaking of King James, 36 minutes, 7 for 19 from the field, 1 for 5 from the tray, 10 boards, 8 assists, 18 points.
Pretty good.
Decent game. Didn't shoot well. I mean, almost had a triple-double, but only 18 points. I mean, do you think LeBron is declining?
Yeah. I think we saw it, especially last year with that groin injury.
It's do we think that he is capable of being that guy that he was in that finals win against the Warriors, where he's just nuclear? I think he knows he's the best and he's just going to play like it and you're not going to stop him.
I think for a short series, maybe like a 7-game series, he might be able to do it. But I think you saw when was the last time you can remember LeBron? Basically, I mean, he didn't come out and say it, but he tried to trade the entire team. He didn't really rush back from that groin injury. He took his time. When was the last time you remember him basically fully on a season? Because I remember him doing everything in his power to will his team single-handedly to the playoffs when he was with the Cavs teams that weren't going anywhere.
And even in the later Heat years, when Dwayne Wade was clearly not the same player that he was,
he still did everything in his power to make it to the playoffs. I've never seen him just be like, we'll trade everyone and I'll get right. Let me just take my time and get right.
I think he really realized how bad the Lakers roster was. He was like, that we're not.
I also think he's getting old. He's realizing that his age is catching up to him.
He's got to conserve himself.
Well, groin injury, that's an injury that in his first 2 seasons would have set him back like what, a week or 2,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean, LeBron's got those freak genes.
So-
you know, LeBron. It's like LeBron and Saquon Barkley, Bo Jack. You know, these guys who are like some of the craziest athletes we've ever
Yeah.
seen, who can come back from these injuries like nothing. There's no shot that a groin injury ended LeBron James's season.
No,
Like there's
like
there's no way.
exactly. I think he's in LA because he wants to venture out and do other things. So I honestly don't think his first
Yeah,
priority
I
is
don't think he
basketball at
should
the
have.
moment.
I don't think he ever should have gone to LA. I think it was a bad
No.
idea. I think they have
I think he shouldn't-
LeBron and they have Anthony Davis.
They shouldn't have made a big deal about it. He should have just done the first day, been like, everyone knows what I'm doing. I'm going to LA. I'm just going to take care of it.
Also, the person I'm going to pin the blame on for the Lakers' current state is Magic Johnson. 'Cause boy, does that guy not know how to run a franchise.
He is so bad. I mean, but like, think about it. There's a lot of things since basketball that he has failed at. He's a lot like Michael Jordan in that respect.
Mhm.
Because I don't know if you saw Michael Jordan's quote about Steph Curry, but that infuriated me. That was wrong.
Yeah, just because it's just so wrong. I mean, Steph Curry is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right now, the only unanimous MVP in the NBA.
I think by the time Steph Curry's done, and I feel very confident in saying this, best point guard ever.
I could find that hard to argue.
I think by the time he's done, he's my pick for MVP this year.
That was a clear indication as to what is wrong in Charlotte. The fact this man can't evaluate a talent when it's staring him in the face.
I mean, it could also be an ego thing too.
Oh no, but that's my
Like,
point.
you know, he's not a Hall of Fame.
But-
I would know. I'm
but
Michael Jordan.
If you're going out to draft him, you're going to be like, nah, he's not good enough to be on my team. This is you know what I mean?
I mean, also,
It feels like he looks for guys that have similarities to him, and it doesn't work out.
I don't even. I mean, like, right?
Because
the Hornets are just bad, man.
But who did he take? Malik Monk, who's this
Malik
lanky
Monk.
guy who seems like he can kind of do some nifty stuff, but hasn't really put it all together.
Well, I remember I really wanted Malik Monk in that draft. I thought he was going to be such a good scorer, and that's not looking like the case.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think that's going to happen for him.
what has Michael done post basketball that's like really to be proud of? Besides,
As an executive,
I mean, just in general, him and Magic had a TV show that didn't work out. He's done a bunch of things.
I mean, I don't know. Michael Jordan's like he's a billionaire. Yeah.
No, I understand.
The Jordan brand's doing great.
It's doing great, but like he hasn't been a great basketball executive.
No.
I mean, his baseball career was nothing good.
Yeah.
I mean, like it just seems like every time he tries to go back, like these guys who try to go back into basketball or even football with John Elway, these guys are trying to go
not doing a great job
back.
either.
These former players who try to go back into the sport in an executive role just because they were good once doesn't mean they're going to be good at that.
Well, also, I mean, John Elway did get Denver a ring. He did construct a roster that won a Super Bowl, and that was I give John Elway the credit for that,
give
because he
Peyton the
basically. Why? Peyton was terrible in that Super Bowl and terrible that whole season.
I think the year he had where he put up 50 drew a lot of attention to that team and kind of invigorated them.
It made people think that they were going to be a team.
I think it made them think they were going to be legit. And also everything post that has been when you have Mr. Denver getting called for being fired, like they wanted to fire him. He's literally Mr. Denver.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, what would it like? We're really seeing what would it take for John Elway to get fired from the Denver Broncos.
And the worst part is they're like, "Hey, Peyton, would you want to do it?" Peyton's like, "No,
dude. I would if I'm an athlete and I'm retired. I'm staying away from all of that, man.
Yeah,
I've got more money than I'll ever need. I'm just chilling."
Or like David Wright in the Mets, special advisor.
Oh, yeah, right.
What could he possibly be responsible for if something goes wrong?
Yeah, he's just got to hang around and, be there for the culture, and that's really it.
I mean, like, even if he's in on the manager search and they don't pick like the Mets didn't pick up Joe Girardi that I wanted to. I'm not blaming David, right? Okay, although it makes me feel a little better that the only team that offered him a position was the Phillies. Nobody else had offered him a spot that he had interviewed with.
Yeah.
Makes you feel a little better. But, I mean, back to basketball. Yeah.
We want to look at the games from last night.
We got to keep moving because I'm getting bogged down in these Lakers talk, man.
Yeah, right. Talking about the Lakers too much is not good for anybody's health.
No.
The Suns blowing out the Kings. I didn't expect that. Looking at the Suns' top performers, I mean, Devin Booker, only 22 points, but an efficient 22 points, and with 10 assists. Ricky Rubio, the classic 11 and 11. DeAndre Ayton looked great.
Good. It's about time.
What I will say is that DeAndre Ayton looked really good last year. The only problem was that the Suns were not getting him involved.
All I know is that the times like when the Knicks did play them, he looked like he could barely match up. Mitchell Robinson matched up well with him, and Mitchell Robinson was an undrafted, didn't go to college.
I mean, Mitchell Robinson is also like a 99th percentile athlete.
Yeah, but my point is, if you're going to be, what was he drafted first?
First. In a stacked draft, but I think he deserved to be drafted.
Oh no,
first.
I'm not saying he did. I would have liked to see more from, especially early on. If you're number one, I want to see an immediate impact.
What my argument is there is that the Suns were holding him back from making an impact.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a fair argument.
But they just wouldn't draw up plays for him to score down low. Because he's a classic big man like
he
that.
He really is.
And he has a jump shot. He can score from the mid. But I mean, he has phenomenal post moves. He can really do work down there, and they just weren't trying to get him the ball.
Do you think Buddy Hield on the Kings side gets that contract extension?
Because
he made a lot of money, but he probably would have had a decent chance to go to a contender. I think he could have gotten picked up on the a little bit cheaper by a team that's in the playoff hunt.
I think the Kings, that trio of De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, and Marvin Bagley are going to do big things. I like Buddy Hield staying in Sacramento.
I don't dislike it. I just feel like, is it going to be one of these things where you go like OKC's 3, where you're like, dang, those players were so good, but it just never worked out with that franchise. Like, things just never clicked in the right time.
Well, that's what, there needs to be that in basketball, right? Where everyone looks at these smaller franchises who have all these promising players, and then they all leave and go to bigger markets and win championships, and everyone says, "Oh man, what if?" Look at the Oklahoma City that had Russ and Harden and KD all at the same time. In Sacramento, I mean, it's a good thing that guys are staying in these smaller markets and saying we want to win here.
And now it's up to the GM and the president and the ownership to
put them in a position to win.
Yeah, now go out. Now you have these young guys that you've secured. Go get some vets to help them. Plug the team. Fill out some holes now. Don't just go grab people.
Yeah.
Do it with intent and purpose. Who else? We got the Nuggets and the Trailblazers.
Nuggets over the Blazers. Jazz over the Thunder. T-Wolves over the Nets in OT. The Hornets win.
The Hornets win.
Even though we've been trashing Michael Jordan for a decent while, the Hornets did win. PJ Washington putting up 27. Lauri Markkanen had a great game.
He looks real.
Lauri Markkanen is good. I'd take Lauri Markkanen over Kristaps Porzingis.
I would too.
And I mean I'm fully acknowledging my bias.
As
a Knicks fan.
And for me, it's not even as much of a bias, just the off the field. I don't need the off the court issues. I really don't.
I don't need his brother coming in and trying to make front office decisions.
I don't need accusations, true or untrue, things like that.
You also, know what I mean? Before we run out of time, RJ Barrett.
Wow. Looked like a grown man.
9 for 13, 21 points, 5 boards. Just looked good.
The first Knick to score 20 in his debut since 1983, I think it was.
Yeah.
And Patrick Ewing didn't even do that.
And he had 2 steals too. He looked great. Everything looked good. His shooting looked good. His scoring down low looked great. He looked so strong. The Euro step looked filthy.
Yep.
His defense was great. His passing was good. He looks really, really good, and I'm super excited. I love RJ Barrett.
For a team that came in, what was it, last year? I mean, they showed that they're not going to be a good team. They're a different team, though. They're going to have fight.
They
have vets that can put the ball in the basket finally.
It's a team that doesn't want to tank. And look, we're not good.
Yeah.
But we have guys who are going to go out there and have grit. And that's all you really want to see from the New York Knicks.
I want to see tough, hard-nosed basketball. I want to see someone getting bopped on the head for throwing hands.
You'll see Bobby Portis. He'll go at a guy.
Yeah, I want to see
Marcus Morris. So
I commend what he did. If someone's getting all up in your business, give him a bop on the head. I got no issue with that. So I am excited, cautiously optimistic for 15 wins.
Yeah, right.
So
we've got an exciting basketball season ahead of us.
And
we'll be back here next week.
Real quick, I just want to play you out with a soundbite from Kevin Durant getting announced last night at the the Nets home game. That's right. They didn't really cheer for him. They literally didn't.
Oh,
do
but hey,
anything.
look, no, the net. Didn't you hear? The Nets are New York's team.
They're cool now.
Yeah, no, the Nets are where it's at.
Because one team keeps saying how cool they are, and we know that what's really cool is telling people how cool you are.
Yeah, that's what makes it.
I'm also glad he tried a street ball move and it failed for the final play of the game. What a moron! All right, Earth is flat. We're gonna keep it here real next week, Thursday.
Thursdays are 4.
Thursdays.
Sports.
Oh
Oh man.